It's that time once again.
The final results video for round 1 of Jamixiy's Tournament TWOWs starts now!
Some quick housekeeping before we begin.
In the middle of the voting process for this part of the round, we switched to a more condensed version of the seeds.
Instead of 1 seed every day or 2, it's gonna be 4 a week.
This simplified version of voting was done so that it would be easier and quicker to complete the voting for the round, because as you saw in the last episode, and as you will see at the start of this episode, we weren't getting a whole lot of votes.
This new voting process garnered a lot more votes than what we've been getting in the past, so we're gonna be using it from now on.
Now, without further ado, let's get going.
Let's start with the upper left with Cola versus GW112.
The responses for prompt 1 were music that sounds like the feeling of stubbing your toe, and my life has been an intellectual challenge since we met.
This seed got 19 votes, which is the least amount in the entirety of the grouped seeds, which only goes to show how little we got in 1B.
Let's see what the 19 voters think. With an 11-8 split, stubbing your toe sounds worse, giving Cola a point. Next up for prompt 2, we have, if you freeze orange juice, it will explode, and to dry wet electronics, just simply use a microwave.
Both of these are awful solutions. Let's see which one is worse.
With a larger gap of 6 to 13, the microwaving solution wins, giving GW112 a point.
Lastly, the responses for prompt 3 were, rinse paper with oil before printing to avoid getting stuck, and annoying neighbor, burn his house down.
It's down to 1 point. Let's find out who will join our other 8 competitors in round 2.
With a difference of only a single vote, Cola moves on to round 2.
That means after winning their extra round, GW112's responses weren't good enough to make it to round 2.
Let's move on to the upper right seed, Maglev versus Mindflex.
Their responses to prompt 1 were Crazy Bus 2, Crazy Harder, and Rubber Chicken Squawking, 10 hours, max volume, headphone users beware.
The Crazy Bus title screen song is so good and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Let's see if the 22 voters agree with that.
Not quite. With a 9 to 13 vote, Mindflex gets the first point of the round.
Next up in prompt 2, we have Termite Invasion, leave high quality balsa outside to steer them away, and placing a phone on a statically charged balloon fries circuits.
Let's tally those votes.
With a second 9 to 13 split, Mindflex also gets the second point, making them a round 2 competitor. But first, let's see prompt 3's answers.
The responses were, set fire to your yard instead of actually shoveling snow, and popped tire, just use one. It makes it really easy.
Whoa, an 11 to 11 tie. That's the biggest tie we've ever had.
Unfortunately for Maglev, since the tiebreaker is based on average votes per response, Mindflex also gets that third point, giving them the first 3-0 win of the round.
Also, Mindflex is the first of our extra rounders to make it to round 2. Next, we have Haru versus Turkey.
The responses to prompt 1 were, crying whilst trying to play the kazoo, the musical, and Eternal Torment, randomly generated breakbeats, confused listeners, lacking coherent structuring.
Let's see what our 13 voters, the least amount this round, have to say.
With a very close 7 to 6 split, Turkey gets the first point of the seed.
Next in prompt 2 are supercharged energy coils generate thermal energy, coil-powered weaponry become welding necessities, and to win JTT, type your credit card number in #general.
The latter response is actually something you should do. I'm really short on cash right now.
With an 8-5 vote, Haru gets their first point, which means we have a tiebreaker.
Sukat spelling? Just tip with confidence. Nobody will notice. And experiencing meltdowns? Gaslight yourself. The universe is just testing you.
Let's find out if this response gaslit the voters into voting for them.
I think that joke is kind of forced.
Listen, I try my best to be clever.
I guess people admire their confidence.
Same amount of votes, but different people.
Turkey moves on to round 2.
Alright, next we have Goldtiamox versus Mayaki.
The responses for prompt 1 were an auto-tune adventure of a microphone's output during crashing airplanes, and my life in a song.
Let's see if this person's life is bad enough to merit them the win from our 14 voters.
What a landslide. 13-1.
Well, with this blowout, Mayaki gets the first point.
For prompt 2, we have sticking coins in electric plugs make them magnetic, and shine surfaces quicker by using bleach and cleaning acid simultaneously.
That first one could easily fool some younger children. Let's hope the voters agree. Wow, another tie. Well, let's move to prompt 3 to find out who wins. The prompt 3 responses were having bad headaches, just get yourself a guillotine, and movement causing exhaustion, upgrade hallways to roadways, car-dependent infrastructure.
Let's see the votes.
With a close 6-8 vote, Mayaki gets the second, and due to how ties work, third points.
Next up, we have Val Zone versus Leopard Son.
The responses to prompt 1 were combining horn noises with equally clownish melodies masterfully create Kabat, Seabat, and it's definitely not worth getting a title, except maybe Sorry.
Let's see if Reddit's favorite song can rise to the top.
With a 10-4 vote, Seabat takes the win and Leopard Son gets a point.
Yo, Perry, we're not being wacky enough of our order of responses.
That's true. Let's go to prompt 3.
The responses for prompt 3 were stub your toe, it won't happen again if you amputate, and mouth holsters eject deadly watermelon seeds and cause immense discomfort.
Will amputation take the win? Let's see. With a 12-2 vote, nearly as bad as the 13-1, but not quite, Val Zone gets this point. And now back to normal. The responses to prompt 2 were putting minuscule poison in your oatmeal builds your immune system, and no matchbox, no problem. Use a quarter instead.
Will the oatmeal enjoyers band together to get this person to round 2?
Nope. With 11-3, Leopard Son passes on to round 2.
Next up, we have returner Fenn 9999 versus 4 kilograms. Now let's actually mix it up this time.
Their prompt 3 responses were calls from strangers, try out Bing, way better than Google, and are you hungry? Just eat 1,000 servings of food.
Which do the people prefer?
Looks like our 20 voters couldn't stomach Fenn's response, because with an 11-9 vote, 4_KGS gets the first point.
For prompt 2, we got, if you always skip school, you can't get bad grades, and grease stains on the carpet no more, introducing shaving foam.
Will ditching school give Fenn a point for a second time?
With a 14-6 vote, Fenn gets the point.
To break this tie, let's take a peek at the responses for prompt 1. They were, me and my friends played soccer on a piano mat, and Joe Mama featuring KSI and Lil Nas X.
Let's see which collab is more popular with the audience.
with a 13-7 vote. Fenn joins Mindflex in the group of extra rounders in round 2.
Now on to the bottom row. Let's start with Silicon versus Zakiki animations.
The prompt 1 responses were, it will be named This Song Sucks, and How to Make the Best Song.
Whoa, wait. Isn't that Noe's response? Perry, what's going on?
I may have goofed up.
You put the wrong response into the voting?
I'm sure it's not a big deal. It's not like it got 3/4 of the votes.
It did.
Well, let's just move on. I'm sure it won't matter.
Well, you got prompt 2's responses correct, yes?
Yup, they were. To stop insects dying, do not put any insect sprays, and shirt stained, apply potato to blemish. 10 minutes later, gone.
Let's see what the voters think of the correct series of responses.
With an 8-12 vote between our 20 voters, Silicon gets the first point.
Finally, for prompt 3, we have back pain, simply remove cerebrum, no brain, no pain, and get rid of everything, including house, to not hurt yourself.
Getting rid of everything is a pretty drastic decision. Let's see if the voters agree.
I guess Perry was right. The mix-up didn't matter, seeing as Silicon got the second point with 15-5.
Congrats, Silicon. You're our 3rd extra rounder to move on. Sorry about that mix-up.
You should be.
Well, moving on to our final seed, we have Hakun versus Solaris FCG.
The responses to prompt 1 were, worst song ever, makes people listen ironically, ruining their ears. Devil's Delight, playing concurrently dissonant harmonies, microtonal melodies, cause discomfort.
That's a rather verbose response. Let's see if it played well with the 16 voters.
It sure did. With a 5-11 vote, Solaris gets the first point.
Next up, pouring milk onto broken bones heals them with the milk's calcium, and want to burn calories? Rapidly ingest trinitrotoluene pills, creating internal combustion.
Well, that's the name for a pill. Let's see if there's a correlation between big words and popularity with the audience.
Not quite. Hakun gets their first point with a 9-7 vote split.
For the final responses of round 1, we have procrastinating, take psychedelics, hallucinogens cause dream-like experiences, aiding writing exercises, and losing TV remotes, glued to your table, you'll never lose it.
Let's see who the last person to join our round 2 contestants are.
With 7-9, Hakun becomes the last contestant and 4th extra rounder to join round 2.
Congratulations to all 16 contestants who have made it to round 2. We'll release a shorter stats breakdown of all 40 contestants later, but for now...
So until then, we will see you in episode 2A.